I haven't posted in a while. Um, a lot of things have changed currently with AI and chatbots and things in that nature. So, what I thought I would do is go through some ideas I had and where I think I'm going to try to go. So, right now, um, my current projects have involved trying to hook up Chat GPT to MetaHumans on my YouTube channel. And that's pretty much been solved if you don't mind using things like Conveya or InWorld. And they have some pretty advanced offerings. It takes a matter of minutes, and you are chatting with a metahuman. You know, the mouth moves, it has a personality, and so on. And that's why I kind of slowed down on my videos because these are much better integrations. If you want to try to roll your own, then you can follow my videos. But there's a bigger picture that's happening, which is this, generative agents and the AI world that has intrigued me. So, um, what Conveya and InWorld don't have yet, maybe they will someday, is the ability to not only generate your uh, characters and you know talk to them and things like that. I mean, they can do that, but the characters don't have agency and they don't have a timeline. They don't have a daily plan that they're going to follow, and that kind of intrigued me as the next step. Of course, other people will probably pick up on this and do what I think I want to try to do. I'm just one person, but uh, you know, here's the idea. Um, you can pull this paper up and take a look at it. Let's see, and you can read it and go through it. And I have there's other videos on YouTube that have gone over how to get this to run locally, even though it does use Chat GPT on the back end. But if you follow along with what I'm trying to do, I want to do this in Unreal. This particular example, and what we're doing is we're going to have chat agents, and but they're going to walk around in a world, and they're going to go to sleep and wake up and do other things, and hopefully have code that's running in JavaScript to make that happen inside of Unreal. So people can follow along, find this paper, read about it. I'm not going to go over the paper, but the idea is to follow along with what they have and try to port some of this over to Unreal. So, real quickly though, the way this thing is architected is this is Visual VS Code, and you can download the project and start going through the code like I did. And basically, it's JavaScript and it's Python. It's Django as the web um, kind of middle tier, and then it's Python for the simulator. Excuse me. And then it's um, and here's the simulator. Of course, you're going to see some other folders I have in here: UnrealJS and then AssetVille. But their project uses a what this called a phaser JavaScript tiled engine to move the people around. And like I said, you can go, you can watch the YouTube, and you can pull open the, bear with me, the document, and you can go through here. So this whole window is this phaser game that's been adapted to a couple of backend or JavaScript calls that call the middle layer that then absorb the simulation. And so we've got JavaScript, and it's like, well, how do we run that? Do we rebuild in C++, in Unreal, excuse me, or do we just get the JavaScript to run? So there's a couple of, and my thought process is just try to get the JavaScript to run in Unreal. And of course, it's going to be a little bit of work, but these pages, as you pull this system down, you have views. Let's see, this is the front end server. You'll have home, and we don't really care about a lot of this, other than we have these items right here that we're going to want to potentially display on in Unreal. And for instance, every view, every HTML has this main script. And if you look in the main script, it's a lot of stuff, but a lot of it pertains to just making the phaser 2D tile map engine work. It doesn't really have anything to do with, let's see, how should I say it? It's got the code in here to drive that phaser component, but then it's got 2 or 3 pieces of code that communicate with the middle layer, and then the middle layer goes and talks to the back end. And the way they're connected, the front end and the back end, is they just upload, files. They just do file I/O. So as I was going through the code, see a lot of this code right here, JavaScript, it's just dealing with the tiled part of it, and we don't care about that. What we care about is how do we communicate and send the simulator what the front end is doing, and the front end obviously would be Unreal. So we start getting into things like this, to where they're getting ready to send data to basically the Django middle layer. And I put notes in here, lives in translator views. And here's the view file. So you have update environment. So basically, these 3 files, we don't even care about the home, other than we'll have to do some emulation in Unreal. But it's taking this main script and ripping it apart and running it in UnrealJS. That's like the first step. So what do I mean by UnrealJS? This is UnrealJS. It's been around for a while. I've gotten it to run. It's 5.1, the latest and greatest, but you can basically run JavaScript in Unreal, and you have complete and total access to all of the your actors in the world, and you can move things, blah blah blah. You can click buttons, you can create UI. And I've tested some of this, and I've actually built the plugin, and it's pretty straightforward. Uh, you can also go on the marketplace and you can get your version of Unreal's plugin if you don't want to compile. So this right here, this plugin could be used to build an actor that essentially has this kind of course, this is in a view. We come over here, has this code in it, right? Post, process event, come over here, process event, update environment, process environment, right? That's what this is doing. Well, I mean, via back and forth. So that's kind of the idea in a nutshell of wouldn't it be great to have an Unreal environment that would be hooked up to ChatGPT and then have agents moving around and doing things. So if we, this is an asset that I pulled. I can't remember if I paid for it, probably did. I call it asset bill. And I'm not a 3D artist, so I am going to look for things that are kind of already done for me. And you can, go into these places and it's really got a lot of content already for me. Obviously, the cars would be, moved around, things like that, but you've got houses, you've got churches, you've got stores, things like that. Already done. Liquor store, market. So the idea is that those places already exist and they're already furnished, and then we come over and then we map the environment uh, as close to one as possible. So there's houses for these people, there's a bar, there's a cafe, living space, there's a park, a couple of college dorms, and then inside of these environments, they're fully furnished. So the idea is having an Unreal JS component that has code like this in it, and then it knows how to also extract from the back end the next thing to do. And then as you can see, it's starting to put things into the DOM of the HTML, which we're not going to do. We're going to do something a little bit different. And then you have the current personas XY. Okay, move target. That would actually have to go and find the target, inside of Unreal and move the item. So it's not going to be a one-to-one, obviously. Things like direction and animations, well, we don't do that in Unreal, right? We just tell a particular NPC to go to a certain location and it takes off, right? And we have our nav mesh, and these agents would just follow the nav mesh and they would go to the target. If we tell everybody to go to church, well, they all go to church, and we don't have to handle the animations and things like that. They just, of course, you're going to have some JavaScript code that knows how to take these NPCs and tell them to come in and sit down or whatever, and okay, go to the store, do that, and that's, you know, that's where we win because we're using Unreal and we're not using this phaser engine. So uh, I would, if people want to follow along, I would suggest reading this paper and then maybe pulling the code down. If you feel if you feel like getting into the development side of it, I might fork this repository, and that way, as we go to 5.2 and 5.3 of Unreal, everybody gets the update. So I can't really do all of this code myself, but it's the pieces that I'm interested in that are the heart of what has to happen, which is this communication back and forth. Help with going and understanding, let's see, storage, base fill, environment, this is what gets, pushed back, personas, and then there's also there's a map in here that is going to have to get modified, and then that code's going to have the engine. I'm sorry, the simulator's going to have to get modified to be a little bit more abstract when it's telling, um, calculating what the personas need to do during the particular hour of the simulation, and where they need to go and what they need to do. That's going to be a little bit different from how phaser works because it's tiles and there's a grid map, and technically we're not going to have that. This market might have one actor in it which has the information for the market that is needed by the simulator, and uh, the simulator will know about it, and it'll be one item. So it's not, if you follow me, it's not necessarily going to be a grid, if that makes sense. But I've been thinking about this for a while, and I want to try to go to the next step uh, of these smart NPCs, whether they're metahumans or not. That's just a implementation detail. This controller that's communicating with the backend simulation should be abstract enough inside of Unreal to adapt to metahumans, right? So the data and the personas and all of that just get, you can use Convea or um, in world or roll your own, and then do whatever you want. If I'm speaking clearly. So that's why I haven't really done any videos, because I could see that the work I was trying to do, it, it's getting surpassed, you know leapfrogged by Convea and InWorld and whoever else. There could be, I think I'm hearing that OpenAI bought a company that might be doing these kinds of things. So I picked this Assetville simply because, and I've had this Assetville for 7, 8 months. I just didn't know what to do with it, and now I think I do. Um, that's kind of where I'm at. Let's see, click on this. Um, Again, I'm a part-time hobbyist when it comes to this type of coding. Not really that well versed in JavaScript, though I can figure it out. And I think the next step is going to be running the simulation and having the uh, whatever it's called in Unreal, the connector, the controller, the whatever actor, uh, reading the information back from the simulation and printing it out. So that's kind of my next goal, and that shouldn't be it shouldn't be that hard in my mind. But that's where I'm at with my software development and AI, and things are changing so fast that I have to pick my battles and decide that I'm not going to compete with multi-million dollar companies that are doing the metahuman stuff. That's not to say this won't work with metahumans. It could very easily work with metahumans. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rip out the phaser game engine and make this a little bit more generic. And that can be used in Unreal, or quite frankly, it could be used in Unity. But it's pulling out the other engine and making this stuff work with other game engines. But that's all I got for now, and hope you like the content, and talk with you soon.